We're joined now by Ron Bellamy. He is the head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team with us on the Oakland County Megacast. Coach Bell, thank you for being with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate having you on. How have you been since we last spoke, and how's the team doing?
We're doing well. We're excited to get going. We're slated to start Monday, August 10th, and so far we haven't gotten word that we're not going to be held back or anything. So we're excited to start up Monday morning.
Yeah, the MHSAA has put a lot of emphasis on they're going to run these seasons for all fall sports as normally as possible. They want to do everything that they can to avoid ditching another season that's similar to what happened in the spring with spring sports such as baseball and so on, and giving these kids opportunities to play the game they love, because for a lot of these students, this is the highest level they'll ever play these organized sports at, and these can be really important times in their lives and experiences in their lives to help them grow in other areas as well.
Absolutely. For the game of football, for most people, it's a game that, you look for a winner and a loser. In our case, obviously, we want to win, every time we get an opportunity to get out there, but we're trying to teach life lessons as well. And we're working on character development, so it's important for us to give an opportunity to continue to work with our young people that we can kind of help instill some values that their parents are doing. And obviously, the toughest part is the camaraderie part for high school kids. We're human beings, and we like the social interactions, and take away football and the kids going back to remote learning. You can take away the socialization part. That's key for their mental and physical health.
It's the social aspects of high school sports are so important, and they play such a big role in the experience and in the success of teams often as well. So the last time we spoke, you were running your practices in cohorts. There was small groups of people at each particular practice, and now we're coming into August 10th where full team practices are permitted for sports such as football. Are you going to be using the same similar methods as you have been previously in other workouts throughout the summer, or are there going to be different regulations in place to have those full team practices but maintain the COVID-19 guidelines as well?
Yeah, for us, we're going to for the first week, the MHSAA advised teams to keep the same summer workouts, but the kids are allowed to use helmets. You could get more in traditional football setting. However, for us, we're going to continue to run things like the summer. We're going to have different pods. We will have our entire, we're going to separate our teams, freshman level, junior varsity, and our varsity level. And we're going to, with our varsity level, we'll have, our entire team there. But we're going to, just work more pod group just to kind of, make sure we're self-contained and try to do things the right way and try to extend this thing as long as possible. As far as, the kids not touching each other. And, whatever we get the green light that we can physically, the kids can engage, we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope for the best, but not quite sure not certain what that looks like.
So if I'm hearing correctly, you have not gotten that green light from the MHSAA or from the school district, wherever the powers that be may be placed, to do physical practicing such as tackling, drills, and scrimmaging and so on with your team. How does that going? If that is the case, how does that affect your preparation for playing ball as you approach a few weeks out the start of the season?
Yeah, for us, well, actually, August 17th is the date that they gave us that we can have full padded practices where the players can be engaged with one another. But we the biggest thing for us is just to do things the right way, and whatever timeline that we have for the MHSAA, we want to make sure that we are, like I say, doing things the right way. If the virus isn't contained the right way, then things will get pushed back.
Ron Bellamy with us. He's the head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers high school varsity football team with us on the Oakland County Megacast. And Coach Bells, we're approaching the beginning of the season. Social distancing guidelines are still going to be in place. The governor's orders only permit 100 people in social gatherings, even outdoor gatherings in the state as of now, with a recent update from a couple weeks back, from a week ago. With that being the case, how will fall games look different on the football end, and how is that possibly going to affect the way that you play ball mentally, knowing that you're not going to have packed stands full of students, a loud student section at the Swamp at West Bloomfield High School, and in many cases maybe parents will not be there to see their kids play as well?
Yeah, I mean, that's the toughest part for us is having such a great following, having one of the best, if not the best, student section in the state, and having a community that supports our football program, and that's going to be tough for us. We our kids feed off the energy from our fans, but nonetheless, they get a chance to put a game that they love. Our games will be live streamed, so whoever can't watch it in person will be able to watch it, digitally, via cell phone or any type of device that they may have. But our kids, they play the game of football for the love of the game, and they play for one another and they play for their school. So we as a coaching staff, I myself, I have to do a really good job of encouraging that and making sure these guys understand that we'll do something, man. At least for home games, maybe we'll do some cutouts or something to make it seem like there's fans, and we'll run some noise through the speakers. I'm not sure, but we'll get creative.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago, just a couple years ago, that I was a Laker and I was in the student section at West Bloomfield High School, and the spirit at that school, the student section, it's infectious. That energy is completely unmatched, and as a student, all my friends and I, we would look forward to that season all year. So is there no chance definitively that there will be fans in the stands at all throughout the whole season, or is there limited capacity that's being looked at? Do we know yet? Because that Friday Night Lights feeling, again, is just unmatched, and
Yeah.
it's hard.
Oh, it's very hard. It's Friday Night Lights. It's a sacred time in the fall for football to be played, and what's neat about it is it brings communities together. It shows the importance of the game of football. You can, even if you're not a diehard football fan, it shows you you could come together for one common cause, and everyone supports everyone. And this is not just in West Bloomfield; this is across our nation. And that's why we love football so much, because of those Friday nights. But for us, I don't know, man. It's we haven't gotten the guidelines. Obviously, Governor Whitmer said no more than 100. So I'm not sure what the MHSAA is going to do according to that. With the fans, we're not sure if each kid gets two parents or whatever that may be, or you get one representative. Not sure of that, but we're going to follow the guidelines, and the kids understand that this is a unique time for us, and they understand that things that they're accustomed to is not going to happen. That's we may not even play a full schedule this year. We may not even play this year, so they're ready for that, and it's my job to mentally prepare them for any and everything that's thrown their way, and we're going to face that adversity face first and do things the right way.
Coach, that brings up an interesting thought for me, just because we had spoken recently with the MHSAA's Director of Broadcast Properties, John Johnson, who had mentioned that to some extent the decisions being made on whether to play a game one week or another may be made on the part of the schools, on the individual teams, the schools, the school districts, and maybe at the highest level, the MHSAA, if there's a serious outbreak and there's an issue. If there's a situation where someone on your team, God forbid, tests positive, or someone on an opponent's same situation, God forbid, tests positive for COVID-19, and there's evidence of an outbreak, how do you go? What's your process there in the school's process of deciding whether or not you're going to continue on with a game that week, and how does that affect your schedule on the week after that as well, knowing that there may be interactions with multiple teams that stem to that outbreak?
Yeah, great question. For us, MHSA is going to have a plan for that. I'm guessing that each team this year, we're the only sport within the MHSAA that does not have you automatically make the playoffs. You qualify for a playoff. So, we're the only school. We're the only sport. So this year may be, like I said, it's a unique year where, from my understanding, everyone will have a chance to make the playoffs. It probably will be a shortened season. In the event if a player or players or coaches, acquire COVID and it's a mass spread, each school district, decides, how they're going to handle that. And from my understanding, each school district's in constant communication with their county's health department. So I know that we're going to have a plan. We're going to have a diligent plan that's first and foremost is for the safety of all involved. Like I said, like I mentioned earlier, football, we all love it. It's a great sport, brings people together. But at the end of the day, it is a game, and lives are at risk, and we're going to do things the right way. And I think the more you explain that to the kids, to the parents, that it is a game, and then there's a possibility of X, Y, and Z happening. If that does happen, that moment happens, you're not going to blink, and you face adversity like you're supposed to, and as you should.
Coach Bellamy, Ron Bellamy, the head coach of the West Bloomfield High School varsity football team, with us on the Oakland County MegaCast. Having been around the team and interviewed a lot of the guys and broadcasting those games, we've seen firsthand at Lakes FM, and our team has seen firsthand that your team is highly motivated, something that your coaching staff does a great job of inspiring in your kids, and your kids just naturally have in them as well as competitors on the gridiron. Is this year different for them? Do you see in your players coming into the season as they're preparing to start this special, unique season under these unique circumstances, that they're even more motivated than usual, that they're even more hungry to win and have a successful year than ever before?
You know what, Tyler? This is my 11th year being a head coach, and we've had the most participants in summer workouts than we've ever had. I think that speaks volumes. I think our kids were cooped up inside their homes for quite some time, and they were ready to. We have a lot of newcomers, and I think a lot of kids kind of gave them that confidence to come out and do something, be a part of a program, and some of the kids chose football. Also, our kids just watching the summer workouts. If you were there in person watching them, you would see kids just relentless. I would call it determined, focused. I'm excited for this year. If we do have a football season, whatever we may have of it, we're going to make sure we're doing things the right way for our kids, and because they deserve it, and everything that we've asked for, the kids have delivered, and I think that's part of the culture that we've developed at West Bloomfield, and something that we're very proud of.
Lastly, Coach Bellamy, on the AstroTurf Twitter page, there's a competition going on for the best high school football field in the country, and West Bloomfield is in that competition. They're going up against another school for the best field. How can people get involved in voting for West Bloomfield and making sure West Bloomfield wins that? And what's in it for West Bloomfield if you guys are declared the best football field in the country?
I'll start off with first how people can get involved in voting. You can follow my Twitter, which is at 19 Bellamy, or you can follow our West Bloomfield School District's Twitter page, and you can kind of scroll through and you can see the link that you can vote for our high school. It's pretty unique. I don't think you win anything, but it's just bragging rights. I know I'm biased in saying this, but I do think that we have a pretty cool football field, different tone, the swamp on the side of our field. Something for us in the West Bloomfield community to be proud of. And our kids love it. We take great care of it. And, I show that being from Louisiana, I've shown some of my high school friends and coaches what our field looks like. And everyone's amazed, by it. And those are the fields that you wish that you could play on. So we're very proud of it. And hopefully everyone can continue to vote for us, and we could keep moving on, and we could get crowned as the best football field in America.
Coach Bellamy, the Big Ten released its schedule this week, its updated schedule for college football. And I got to ask as we're going out, of course, I'm a Spartan, you're a Wolverine, so I have to ask this question. How did your coach Harbaugh pull off such a fast one on the Big Ten and end up getting the Michigan State game switched over to Michigan Stadium this year? How did that happen?
He said that Michigan State, the players wanted to play in front of the greatest venue in the world. So Coach Tucker begged the Big Ten to allow Michigan State to travel again to play in Ann Arbor. I joke. From my understanding, the Big Ten thought it was not fair that Michigan and Michigan State were both playing road games at their respective rivals. For instance, the way the schedule was slated, Michigan State would always travel to Ann Arbor and travel to Columbus to play Ohio State. And the same was true with Michigan. Michigan would always have to travel to East Lansing and travel to Columbus to play Ohio State. So by giving Michigan an additional home game this year, you kind of, Michigan plays Michigan State at home, and Michigan travels to Columbus. So you broke that up a little bit, which I thought was fair. And unfortunately for Michigan State, this year they got to travel to the Big House, but it's just for 1 year. I want to say a few years back, Michigan did the same thing where they played 2 straight years in East Lansing.
Yes.
So we're returning a favor, and you could play that game on a neutral site. You could play it on asphalt. That's still going to be the toughest, most physical game around.
Absolutely, Coach Bellamy, thank you for being with us today.
Thank you guys for having me, and stay safe, and let's go Lakers.
Absolutely, thank you very much, Coach Ron Bellamy with us, the head coach of the West Bloomfield Lakers varsity football team, with us on the Oakland County MegaCast.